Hey guys, I'm at the property today. I've got Petey with me. He's hot. It's 103 right now. Heat index of 114. It's miserable. I got some water and some Powerade and things in my backpack, and I got the articles with me. I don't know if I'm going to get around to sharing them today, but I'm bringing them anyway. We're just going to take a walk. I'm going to take him down. I wasn't going to bring him, but when I left the house, I had to go back inside to get the keys. And when I went in, all the dogs are in the living room with Chrissy and Kim and Rosie. And Petey was in the bedroom. He was curled up in the fetal position on the floor, trembling. He suffers separation anxiety when I leave, and I just couldn't leave him there alone. So I decided not to bring the four-wheeler. I'd bring him instead and let him get out of the house with me. And I'm going to go down to the creek, let him play in the water, and I may set the camera up and do some articles. I've been up here 5 times in the past week trying to get to the creek, and I can't get there. I keep getting spooked. But I got him with me today. I am armed. I am heavily armed, and we're going to try to make it to the creek. But here we go. Let's do it. Can't believe how hot it is. It's ridiculous for it to be this hot. And he's panting really hard. So I'm gonna take him down here and let him get in the water. He loves the water. He's not a good swimmer like most dogs. His back end sinks and he ends up bobbing up and down, and then he goes under. So we don't take him in the deep water. He's just not a good swimmer. I want to go that way, but I don't have my snake boots on, and I don't want Petey to get bit either. So we're going to go this way. It's just a little more open. Should have brought my card reader to check the trail camera. I wish I could find that other one. Even having Petey with me, I'm still spooked. I know I shouldn't be, but if you've ran into one of these forest people before, you definitely understand. I think they'd be just as scary if they were, 4 foot tall versus 6, 7, or even higher, Creek's really close. The spot I'm going to go to is right over here. It'll be a little easier to get down to it, and maybe we won't have to worry about Petey getting snake bit. That was something taking off right there. It's really dry out here, so it could be a squirrel or a rabbit. My stepson Cody, over at his spot, which is it's back through there across the creek, probably I would say 600 yards from right here. And he went 3 or 4 days ago to check what he's planted, to see if everything sprouted, and there were cat tracks over there as big as your hand from panthers. We have Florida panthers. They look like a mountain lion, but I think they're smaller than a mountain lion. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen a mountain lion. Come on, buddy. I've seen panthers before. Just a handful of times. We have seen tracks, panther tracks here. Kim and I both have seen them. Okay, I want to get right down in there. There's a game trail right over here. See if we can do this without getting into the snakes. Hold on, buddy. Come on, let's go get in the water. Let's go right down here. Come on. We haven't seen any moccasins on this property yet, but we have seen a ton of rattlesnakes. There's no shortage of them, for sure. You get right down in there. What is that? Hold on, buddy. Petey. Come on, let's come over here, bud. Make sure we don't get near no snakes. Here's the water. He's hot. Here, over here. Let's go over here. Gotta follow the game trail. This is a deer crossing here. Oh, here we go. Come on, buddy. There we go. Come on. You want to get in the water? Go ahead. I should have brought my water shoes with me. Does that feel better? I'm not gonna leave you. Go ahead, bud. So pretty in here. Right over here, we got a there's a little tiny waterfall right there, and right. I know it looks like I'm pointing upwards, but it is higher. The creek is higher right there, and it's got a waterfall right there, and then it falls down. It falls, and it just kind of steps down to this level. And they're all small waterfalls, they're not big. We've got right there to the left. You know, I think I'll take my shoes off and get down in there. I want to show you guys the spring. Holy cow. Man, that scared me. There's a buck rub right there. And this little thing right there. I just seen it out the side of my eye, literally standing right here, I seen a woman with shoulder-length black hair and a faded blue, looked like a trench coat, but made out of cloth, and then went down just barely below her knees. I just seen her out the side of my eye right there. And it wasn't like Native American, almost looked Oriental. That scared me. God, mind does weird things to you. Alright, let's see if I can set my bag. I have to get down right here. I'll hang my backpack up because I want to go over here. I want to show you guys what's over here. Now I'm using the camera's mic today. I'm not using the wireless mic. I do not want to drop it in the water. Alright, you guys, let me get these shoes off and this backpack off. Be right back. Alright. Hey, buddy. Oh, it's slippery. Okay. Oh, that's cold. Yeah, that was cold. That's real cold. You can sort of see that first little fall right there, little waterfall. It's tiny. It's just the water's just rolling over a root. Sort of like this, but it's just higher. Okay. Maybe this right here is where you normally, if you have moccasins, they're normally like they'll be on a clump of stuff like this in the sun. So you got to pay close attention to that type thing. And these little knobs like this. Something I'm learning that I didn't know because I'm new to wearing glasses. What I wasn't aware of is that the blind spots that you get from wearing glasses, I'm okay with it because I can see, praise the Lord Jesus. And I love being able to see. Alright, this is a spring. This is one of the many springs that feed this property, this creek. And you can see it's got a good bit of water coming out of it. And the spring is actually way back. There's a tree right here laid down. It's way past it, probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 feet, not way past it, but 10 or 12 feet past it is where that is blowing out. And I don't know if Mark has ever uploaded the footage when him and Carrie were here, but right here, this little patch of wet area, Mark and Carrie were camping way down there, right off the edge of the creek. All right, Mark and I come through here. We got down up in here, and Mark had spotted, there was a hole right here dug, and there was a stick sticking in it, and it had dirt clotted up on the end where somebody was digging with it, trying to dig crawfish out of the ground right there. Petey, he kicked that limb loose and it rested against my ankle. I like to have done a backflip, thought it was a snake. Gotta be careful of these little these washouts, because you do get snakes in them sometimes. Usually the snakes will get in them when it hasn't rained for a while and the water's down. Kind of in a drought situation, that's when they'll get in them. Got a game trail right here, feet down. I have not noticed. Yeah, there was a hole right up in here, and that's where somebody had a stick and was digging something out of the ground. It's pretty amazing, but that was something Mark had spotted, and he actually crossed the creek and got up there and looked at it. He picked the stick up and he filmed that. If you haven't seen it, that's on, if Mark has shared it, and that's Mark Zasky, that would be on his channel. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really watch YouTube, and I prefer YouTube over TV, but I just haven't had a lot of free time. Come on, buddy, we'll go down here. Trying to pay attention to these banks. Don't want to come across a snake, because they can move pretty doggone fast in this water. There's another little spring right here, and it's just kind of trickling down. You can see it right there, fairly good coming out of the bank. And then it's trickling right there. But there's a ton of springs all down the length of the creek, the length of the property. I don't know about outside of the property on the neighboring properties. I don't know how many springs are there, but I'm sure it's a lot. It's probably just as many, if not more. You see there's a little trickle of water. These are little springs that are under the ground. This is where a deer tried to cross. He did cross. You can see him where he went up the bank. That's pretty steep. There's a little spring. Yeah, they're crossing right here. It's deer. I don't know where they're going from there. It's really thick. Come on, buddy. We're getting into stuff. Get snake bit. Come on. I want to go the other direction because I want to show you guys that little waterfall. What happened, Petey? Was it a hole? Go ahead. Just up there was a log and dipped his chest underwater. When my daughter, Makaira, and my grandbabies were down here, we came in from that direction. We walked down, and we had to cross the bank right here, step down, and we were going upstream. Right there on the bank was a banded water snake. Petey, come here, buddy. All right, let's go the other way. Come on. Hey, let's go this way. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. This right here is pine. This is lightered. If you could break one of these limbs off, very, very flammable, but it'll burn when it's wet also. It's got that just about petrified turpentine in it. I'm coming. Let's not go up there. That one's been cut. That old log right there. And that's all fat lighter. I'm going to end up doing, I know the majority of you guys here are probably very well versed in what the modern term is prepping, but it's just surviving off the land. You know, being able to survive if civilization crashed, you could survive on, you know, the environment, what's around you here. There is a pump system, and it's just comprised of a few check valves, which you have to use brass check valves, and some 1-inch PVC, about a 2.5-foot section of 4-inch, some caps, a couple of reducers, just a few fittings, and you can create what's called a ram pump. And once you put the ram pump together, water comes into it, and the 4-inch section, you'll have a cap on the top of it. It'll stand up vertically, and as the water flows into it, it'll build up head pressure, air, inside the 4-inch pipe, and it'll start cycling, and it'll using the check valves, it'll click. You'll hear the click where the check valve closes, and it'll pump just a few tablespoons of water out, but it just runs continuously, and you can run a water hose. You can put a ram pump right here, run a water hose up this little bank here, and go uphill for 100 feet, and it'll pump water out of the other end, and it requires no electricity, no power of any type. It's called a ram pump. If you're unfamiliar with it, look it up on YouTube, and they're very fascinating. You can build one for probably $40 to $50 if you use cheap parts. But if you're going to build it to last, you're going to spend about $100 in today's economy. And the easiest way to do it, we got flowing water, which will work beautiful. But you take like pillowcases, burlap bags, whatever you can get, sandbags. Build you a sandbag wall, and you're just doing a retainer wall, and it only has to be a foot high. And you're going to put a run of pipe where the opening is just on the other side of your wall here, your sandbag wall, and put one layer of sandbags over it, the water of the creek will fill up to the top and it'll overflow, but it'll be forced through that pipe. It'll come down through the pipe, and 15 feet away or so is where the ram pump actually sits. And you put a regular gate valve, or like a hose spigot valve. Put that on it, hook your water hose to it, and the water running into it, it'll be a continuous supply of water. And what we're going to do, this water is really, really clean due to being spring fed. So I'm going to put a water tank somewhere up the hill. I don't know where it's going to go yet. We haven't plotted that far ahead. But the ram pump will fill the water tank up, and once it's full, it's just going to overflow it. It'll overflow and just, trickle down in the ground. Petey, hey. I don't know if that was a stick or a snake. Something moved right there and scared him. Petey, back. Let's go this way. Go. I seen it. Whatever it was, I seen it when it moved. It scared him. But anyhow, we'll put that water tank up. I'm trying to get my hands on a fairly big tank, like anything over 550 gallons, and it'll be way up the hill, and I'll have it on like an 8 to 10 foot tower I'll make out of telephone poles, and then the tank will sit on top. Well, I can get a 12 volt pump from Harbor Freight, connect it to a car battery, and put a solar charger on it so that it remains charged. And if we lose electricity, all I have to do is push a button, which will pressurize the pump, and we have pressured water. And it's not a lot of pressure. I think you get about 40 psi out of some of the better pumps. Here, watch out, buddy. I gotta get by. That's deep, ain't it? You smell something right here, or you spook because it's just deep. That looks like some old snake skin right there. I'm gonna get past this. Just want to make sure there ain't nothing in here to hurt us. This Petey's probably going to jump up on this. Maybe not. Oh no, he's going to follow me. Good. Come on, buddy. But anyhow, the purpose of the ram pump, we're going to use that for water, like for the garden, for the goats. We'll have water in troughs, way out here in the back, away from the house, and they're going to have water back there. And I don't want one of them to get overheated. Something happened, they get chased and get overheated, and they got to go all the way up to the house, to the north end of the property, just to get water. I want to make sure they got water back here too. Getting kind of dense. We haven't worked on clearing any of this yet. Just spider web right there. Making sure there's no surprises here. We are in the woods. No surprises do happen out here. Hold on, buddy. Move some of this stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna get up here, see if you guys will be able to see the other waterfall, the one past this. Ow! There's some sharp stones in the bottom here. Hold on, buddy. Don't go too far. You can see where the game are going across right here. I don't think we can get to the other waterfall. Oh, I just seen a fish right there in that little puddle of big fish. Well, big for this creek. Looked about a foot long. That other waterfall's right through there. It's not far, but I'm not going to go through this. We'll come down here with a chainsaw and pruners and snake boots, and I'll open this up. Petey, come here, buddy. Okay, bye-bye. See you later. You don't want to be left. Alright guys, I'm going to see if I can set somewhere, if I can get the camera hooked up, and maybe we'll share some articles and get down here on the edge of the water. I'm not even sweating right here, and that's very unusual. The day the Lord brings me home, when they put my body in the casket, it'll probably sweat. Let's see. Okay, hold on, buddy. I'm old, short, and fat. You gotta hold up. Wait on me. Petey, come on. Get down. Well, that was cold. Got a deep hole right there. I guess where this tree fell. It's made a pocket. There's a turkey feather. Oh, Petey. There's a turkey feather right there. All right, oh, there's my bag. All right, guys. Let me let's see where we can set. I don't want to set somewhere that my feet are going to be dangling down where I could get snake bit or get a spider. I wouldn't mind sitting on that bank right there. I'm going to do some articles, share some articles with you. I got to get my stuff out of the backpack. Get some Powerade. Well, I could probably sit on that little knoll right there. I just want you guys to have somewhat of a decent background. This is so pretty right here. I love this spot of the creek. But I don't know where I could sit. I got things in my pockets that cannot get wet. All right, let me figure this out. We'll get set up and we'll share some articles. All right, guys. I got the wireless microphone connected to the camera. Took me a minute to get it set up. I'm trying to stand on that embankment. That is so pretty right there. I wish the camera would do a better job at showing this, but it's so pretty. All right, I'm going to set it up. I got a little spot on the bank I can sit. I just want the camera positioned that it can see back beyond, past me. So we're going to set it up to film down this run here, and I'm going to sit right here on the side. There's probably photographs with this one. I haven't looked at any of these. Guys, I don't second guess any of the information that our brother Don Moore sends me. All right, there's a lot of photographs with this one, quite a few. So if you're interested in seeing the photographs, please jump over to Brother Don Moore's channel. I will have the link in the description below this video. And you can see the pictures that go with these articles. We've got we got some more they're good ones, but they're on some of the odd stuff, oddities, high strangeness, but that's what we do. This one here is different accounts of people encountering some of these what many people are calling hybrids. Half animal, half man, half beast, half man. I don't know the correct terminology, but they've got many names. Some people are calling them skinwalkers. Some people are calling them shapeshifters. There's so many different names for them. We don't know what they truly are, but we will eventually know. All of us will. Nothing hidden. got tongue twisted. Everything hidden will be revealed. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, I'm going to do these backwards, I believe. We got, all right. We're just going to go ahead and start. It's getting just to where it feels a little off in here. It's not scary per se, but it's just got a weird feel right here. And it did not feel that way when we come down in the water. But it's feeling like that now. But anyhow, we'll get started. And again, if you want to see the pictures that go with these videos, these articles, please jump over to Don Moore's channel. If you are not subscribed to his channel, I would greatly appreciate it tremendously if you guys would just jump over and subscribe. It'll help support him, help get his numbers up so that he can hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. That's the threshold YouTube sets. In order to do live streams, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. And we'd like to get him up to that 1,000 mark. It doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't count against you. You know, if you want to support the people you like, subscribe to them. If you don't like their videos, but you like them, and you don't plan on watching their videos, subscribe to them, and then the notification bell, click on that and make sure you select none, and you won't get any notifications. If you want to support the people and you want to watch their content, click that bell and then click subscribe to all notifications. Every channel I'm subscribed to, I am subscribed to all, and it just, you know, these are people I like, and many of the channels I'm subbed to are you guys. And those of you that have, you know, jumped out and joined us, and I had a few of you email me your channel name, and then, you know, I would go over, find your channel, and I'd subscribe, and we just do it to support one another. But all right, guys, enough of that mess. I'm sorry for blabbing. We're going to go with it. This one's titled, A Son Completes His Father's Quest to Encounter a Goatman. The date is undisclosed for privacy reasons, and the location for this is Bowie, Maryland, Prince George's County, Governor Bridge Road. Governor Bridge spans, the Governor's Bridge spans the Patuxent River. The haunted bridge is also known as Goatman Bridge or Crybaby Bridge. The information source for this article is eyewitness testimony, locals' testimony, along with police reports since the late 1950s of a strange Goatman creature on and around the bridge. Petey, come here, buddy. Come. Don't you go up there, you're going to get bit. I'm sorry, guys. He's like a child to me, and it would devastate me if something happened to him. You want to come over here? Come here. Come. All right. One personal eyewitness relates, some stories are tragedies or start with tragedies, but since I made it out alive, I would not go so far as to say it was a tragedy, but a horrific ordeal. Yes. This experience will haunt me for the rest of my life. The tragedy of this encounter happened right at the beginning with my father's death. That's how my story starts, with something absolutely heartbreaking, and it would change me forever, but I knew there were things I had to be thankful for. My father wasn't very old, but he lived a good and happy life. He wasn't in a lot of pain before he died, and I got to spend a lot of time with him before his death, but it was still the worst thing that happened to me. I was very close to my father, and his loss really haunted me. I was in deep pain and grief, and I saw no way out. Looking for some kind of comfort, I researched deep into my father's history, in his life, and everything he left behind. They were born in a small town in Maryland named Bowie, but they moved to Baltimore when I was born. When I grew up and went to college, my grandparents died, and my father moved back to his childhood home in the small town of Bowie, where he lived through his divorce, his retirement, and where he died. And that's where I found myself, in this small town of Bowie. Studying my father's house, I learned new things about him. Even though we loved each other, sometimes you don't know everything. For example, my parents raised me without too much importance to religion, which I grew up thinking that was normal, and my parents must have felt the same way. But inside my father's house revealed the true nature of his faith. Nothing scandalous or dark, but he was very Catholic. The more I spent time in this house, the more I found out how religious he was and the strict privacy he liked. Crucifixes and Bibles were scattered around the house. This was odd because he seemed to keep all of this a secret, but one thing he never kept a secret was his interest in the paranormal. He was a fan of cryptids, ghosts, and everything in between. He often talked about it and read articles about it and movies, and he took it very seriously. But this house was just not the place where he died, but it was his childhood home, and it showed me more secrets than I knew what to do with. Being a fan of scary folk stories and scary campfire stories in the 1960s and 70s, plus being a teenager in a small town, my father had a favorite creature, the Goatman. In this house, I found 2 boxes of things about the Goatman. I think he had every article he could get his hands on of people's encounters, including his own notebooks. I could not finish reading them. It was too emotional for me to read something in my hand that he had taken so much time and effort to collect. This led me to learning a little too much about the Goatman. It started with a classic Maryland legend, an agricultural research laboratory where things went wrong when they created a half-human, half-goat monster. I looked into further accounts like the black farmer in Texas that was murdered and his body would become a goat man to haunt the bridge he was hung from, though nobody was found hanging over the side or at the end of the noose. But then I started studying other small encounters or blurry photos taken of this monster. I soon became obsessed thinking about it day and night. I would wake up at 3 a.m. having sweats after nightmares involving this creature. It should have been the end of the story, and I should have let it go, but I didn't. I should have packed up a few photos of my father and his jacket and moved on with my life. Sold the house and forgot about this small town of Bowie. Forgot about Governor Bridge Road and forgot about the Goatman. I don't know if it was my father's spirit that convinced me to stay in Bowie or not. He believed in this sort of thing and I didn't. Perhaps I had thought about the Goatman so much that I had made him real in my mind, or perhaps I was haunted by him and that's what got me to stay. My dad believed in it, and just maybe I was starting to also. I thought maybe his Catholic faith was the one reason he never encountered the monster he was so obsessed with. But I lacked that faith, and really, what did I have to protect myself? The point was, I extended my stay in Bowie and visited the infamous Goatman Bridge, its real name being Governor's Bridge, over the Patuxent River, which was the #1 spot for Goatman sightings and encounters since the 1970s. At first, I went during the day to take photos, just pretending I was a curious tourist. Soon, I was spending my afternoons by the side of the road reading all the articles available about the Goatman. As night fell, the cars and passers became less and less, and I was running out of light to read. Things started to turn uncomfortable. At times, there was too much silence, or at times I felt the woods behind me were alive and angry. There were footsteps and rustling leaves and birds fleeing from the trees. My palms would start to sweat and my heartbeat would get faster, and closing my eyes, I got the feeling I was not alone. If I opened my eyes, I was not sure what I would find, my father or the Goatman. Eventually, I ran out of excuses for pretending that I wasn't waiting for something paranormal to come running at me. I would go to Goatman Bridge late at night and stay until morning. I would walk around in the dark woods with my heart in my throat and no weapon to defend myself. I felt like I was losing my mind, but at that moment I was fine with it. More than once I crossed paths with the locals, sometimes accidentally scaring them, and they all warned me to stay away from this area. Looking into their eyes, I saw genuine primal fear. I ignored every warning as I was growing a stranger unto myself. I thought if there was really no Goatman, would I become it? But then I was found, and not by my father's ghost or by this strange Goatman creature, but by the one weakness we all may have, our own mother. She had left the town of Bowie when she divorced my father, but still lived nearby in the same county. One of the people I had run into had recognized me as her son, and she had come to pick me up in my crazy state of mind. I tried to convince her I was perfectly sane, but this was hard for her to believe, especially when she found me wandering Governor Bridge Road at night by myself, and I had refused to get into the car with her. She wrapped her arms around me tightly, and though I had always been closest to my father, her embrace was the most comforting thing I had felt in a while. She told me she loved me and understood my grief, and said when I was ready to quit this mad quest, she would pick me up. Then she drove off, and I felt better about things. Better in my head and more clear, but still feeling nauseous. It took a while to figure out this was coming from a rotten, disgusting smell. My adrenaline picked up, as this was said to be a sign of the Goatman's presence. I decided maybe I didn't want to meet this creature, so I discreetly made my way back to find the road, and that's when it happened. I slipped on something and I fell to the ground, with the smell being grotesque. I looked around and found the source, a headless, dead fox, and I had slipped on the fox's blood. I wanted to scream and I couldn't, and I had goosebumps everywhere, and then I heard it. Hooves walking slowly and heavily on the fallen leaves and grass very close by. I thought I would faint, but never had felt such a desire to live, and felt fear at that point. I tried not to move or make any noise. I was looking around, maybe for help, but part of me was still curious, and then I saw it. Close enough in the dark to make out his form, but far enough away not to have a heart attack. I was lying on the ground, so I first saw the hooves and 2 goat legs. Not 4, like a normal goat. They were large, like horses' hooves, and definitely not natural. Looking up the large legs and where they ended started something out of a nightmare. Something disgusting and impossible. The start of a human body. I closed my eyes and hoped my death would be quick. I heard the hoof footsteps again, but this time they were moving away from me. I was still nauseous, yet conscious, and conscious enough to realize this may be my only chance of survival. With every bit of strength I had, I got up and started running blindly through the dark woods, scratching my face and arms with the trees and branches. I can still, to this day, hear the groans and goat noises that were behind me as I ran, and it still makes me shake with fear. I kept running, and I reached the main road and crashed against a parked car on the side of the road. It was my mom, who has stayed back in case I needed her. I got in the back seat and started to cry as she drove away from the area, away from Bowie, and in the middle of the night. She never asked me any questions. Somehow I felt she already knew what the answers would be. In conclusion, facts about the Goatman of Prince George's County. There exists a creature in Maryland known as the Goatman. Whether it is Maryland legend or Maryland reality, there are enough witnesses, numerous police reports, and circumstantial evidence to keep the Goatman's name alive. As recently as 2000, a group of construction workers sighted a Sasquatch-like creature traversing an area of Washington, D.C. suburbs. In their estimate, it stood 12 feet tall. So what is the Goatman? Some have claimed he has a human body with a goat's head, like the popular portrayal of Satan. Some insist he has a goat's lower body with the torso of a human, like the satyr of Greek mythology. Other observers simply say that he is an exceptionally hairy humanoid creature about 6 feet tall. The most persistent accusation against the Goatman is that it assaults pets. The area has suffered several rashes of mutilated or missing animals. Some people claim to have witnessed the Goatman throwing dogs off of Interstate 495 overpass near secluded areas. Since the late 1950s, the Goatman territory has included several localities in Prince George's County with a focus on the town of Bowie, which is largely forest with a number of highways running through it to other more populous parts of the state. At the heart of the matter is the bridge known as Crybaby Bridge on Governor Bridge Road. That's where motorists can hear the shrill cry of an infant ghost or the Goatman. The Goatman also frequents Lotsford Road and Fletchertown Road, and the areas of Lotsford Vista Road and Ardmore Ardwick Road. Some have claimed the Goatman broke into their homes while they were out, and they startled the belligerent creature on their return. He has also been reported many times of attacking cars left near the woods, often with an axe in hand. More often, the Goatman's origins are linked to the United States Agricultural Research Center of Beltsville, Maryland, on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. suburbs. Two common variations involve a scientist working with goats at the facility. In one story, the scientist goes mad for reasons often improvised by the storyteller, and he runs off screaming into the woods where he stalks animals, pets, and people with an axe to this very day. The second and more fantastic version claims that the scientist's experiments went horribly wrong and mutated him into a goat-like appearance, whereupon he fled to the relative peace of the woods with an axe and a chip on his shoulder. There is a third assertion involving a botched attempt at creating a cure for cancer. Finally, there is the assertion that the Goatman is the embodiment of none other than Satan himself, summoned to this earth from time to time by the rituals of Satanists. The story of the Goatman just doesn't thrive in Maryland. In the Texas town of Marshall, hunters reported seeing a Goatman in 1972. In Alabama, another Goatman was reported roughly 7 feet tall with hooves, claws, and a lumpy bald head. Stories have also poured in from Oregon, Oklahoma, Kentucky, and California. Cryptozoologists who study the so-called extinct, non-existent, or undiscovered animals have been drawn to this creature in droves. Until the myths can sufficiently be proved or disproved, the Goatman will continue to be the object of both ridicule and fear. One last encounter from outside Paducah, Kentucky. As a kid growing up in Kentucky, I heard of the Goatman, a half-human with a goat head. My grandfather told of a screaming devil jumping a fence, grabbing 2 pigs and running off with them. On Highway 69 east of Paducah, I was headed home and I saw something leap across the road. I hit the ditch to keep from hitting it. It was far from human, with a monkey-like face, small horns, strange arms like a kangaroo, thick legs, and a long tail. I think it was the Goatman. Wow. And then it goes into the photos. And again, the photos you can see on Don Moore's YouTube channel. The link for that channel will be in the description below this video. Don, if you're watching this, brother, man, that was a very fascinating article. That was definitely one of the top, for me personally, one of the top favorites that I've read so far. Guys, I need to, let me check the battery in my camera right quick, and I'll be right back with you and we'll continue. All right, this one's titled The Strange Case of a Deadly Goat Bite. And this is just going to be an odd article. We got something moving right up there. Sounds very light-footed, whatever it is. Could be a squirrel, a rabbit, a skunk, a raccoon. I think it sounds like something small. All right, the year for this article is undisclosed, and again, for privacy reasons. The location is undisclosed for privacy reasons as well. The information source for this article is testimony of 2 forensic pathologists to seeing a 10-foot goatman creature at the attack site at night. Forensic lab confirmation of a goat bite on the human's neck. DNA swab testing confirming the goat bite to be of human origin, and police reports. This is going to be a wild one, and I have not read any of these. I'm hearing it at the same time you guys are. One man relates, I am a forensic pathologist, and meeting with corpses was just part of my daily routine, and I wasn't really surprised by what I saw on any given day. I had to compartmentalize to accomplish this job, but it didn't mean there were never any surprises. One evening, a workmate of mine received a call while we were both on shift from his house. His mother had recently been ill and had taken a turn for the worse. He asked me if he left, would I be okay on my own, and of course I said yes. Shortly after my workmate left, I got a call from the lab's research team. They had found a corpse in the woods without a drop of blood anywhere and no evidence of what had happened. When the body arrived, we went through all the normal tests like heart attack or any sign of disease. When the tests came back, would it determine the cause of death? As I started the autopsy, I saw a large bite on the neck, which I noted, but pushed it aside because the bite was not deep enough to rupture any artery or cause this man's death. I took a photo of the bite and I scanned it into our system. We had a program that would scan a bite mark and compare it to the most likely animals. This technology advancement was quite to our advantage in our work. I was very skeptical when the results said a 98% match to that of a goat. In all of my years doing autopsies, I had never seen anyone bitten by a goat. Though I still was under the impression a goat bite could not have killed this man or been the reason of his demise, I did have to consider that maybe the goat was ill or had been poisoned and had transferred this illness or poison to this man. It was strange for sure. Examining the bite a little further, I noticed in the middle was a dark shade of bluish purple. Reading the labs again, I saw it was noted that the bite had ruptured several blood vessels, causing the man to bleed out. Though rare, this type of injury is certainly not unheard of. I finished my autopsy and noticing nothing else of interest, I accepted that this must have been the cause of the man's death. A neck bite from a goat that was either ill or had been poisoned. Now I could go home for the night. As I packed up my things and headed for the door, there was this pulling sensation inside of me, and though I was very tired, this nagging question inside me was asking, could a goat bite really cause this much damage to blood vessels inside of a man to kill him? In all of my years, I have never seen anything like this. Though I should have accepted the findings, the scientist inside me yearned for more information. I should have just went home from being so tired, but curiosity got the best of me. Sitting my bag down, I approached the man to have another look, and I decided there was just no way a goat could have caused this man's death. So I decided to take a DNA sample of the bite to determine where the cells originated from. I was very surprised to see our system register the bite DNA as human. What an anomaly. Was our system wrong? Was I so tired that my eyes were deceiving me or my brain showing me what I wanted to believe? There was no way a human's bite could resemble that of a goat because the mouth structure is very different between the two. It may be possible to mimic a goat bite if you had a special set of dentures and put enough power behind the bite to burst the blood vessels and cause damage. I knew I wasn't going to gain anything by staying here longer and depriving myself of a good night's sleep, so I picked up my things and I left, being resigned to accept there wasn't any other explanation on what happened to that man. This night, I'm sorry, the wording's a little messed up here. This might be a case that gets closed without any real answers, or at least not any of the answers I was looking for. When I got home, I went straight to my bedroom and I went to bed, falling asleep very quickly. But then suddenly, in a dream, I was running as fast as I could. It wasn't clear what I was running from, but I knew I was scared. I turned to see who was chasing me, and it was a person with a mask on. And if I had to guess, its height and build was that of a man. As I turned back around, I crashed into something solid, and looking up, I saw a goat leaning over me. I then noticed the person chasing me was laughing or cackling, with saliva dripping from his mouth. I was so focused on the goat leaning over me that I failed to see the man with the mask come up to the side of me, and taking the mask off, it was the head of a goat. Immediately I was awake with my alarm going off loudly next to me. I followed my usual morning routine, grabbing my bag half hour early and heading out the door. On my way to work, I couldn't stop thinking about the dream and how odd it was to see a man with the head of a goat. I don't usually read into dreams or try to interpret them as signs, but this dream told me there was more to this case than I had first thought. I resolved to keep researching, and deep down I knew my findings during the autopsy had only scratched the surface of what really happened to this man. I was surprised to find my workmate there this morning, and after checking with him if things were okay at his house, I decided to share my findings with him from the night before, and told him about my dream to see if he could shed any light on its meaning. I enjoyed working with this man, and we challenged each other at times, but never at the expense of the other. He was just as intrigued about the man lying still on our examination table, and even more intrigued about the dream I had the night before. He said, "Until we get to the bottom of this, I think we should just keep it to ourselves," and I agreed. We decided we would go to the crime scene that evening, as he felt it was better to return under the cover of darkness when the man was attacked. He said it might give us a better understanding of his state of mind before and during the attack. As we inspected the site that night, we heard this clamorous sound up ahead as if a large animal was heading our way. We knew it was too dark to run, and since we didn't know yet what we were facing, we decided to hide back in the shadows of the trees. When the thing got close enough for us to discern what it was, we were speechless. This thing was at least 10 feet tall, with large horns protruding from its head. I thought it must be a joke, someone dressed up with a mask on and on stilts. Something to make them look larger than life. When it was just a few feet away from where we were hiding, the moonlight shone on its face. What confronted us was something out of my dreams. But wait, was I dreaming again? Had I fallen asleep and just didn't know it? I felt back in my dream from the night before, because this thing standing in front of me was a man, but with the head of a goat. My friend shook my shoulder, bringing me back to reality. What we were both seeing was real. I could tell by the pleading look in my friend's eyes that he wanted to leave immediately, but I was frozen. rooted to that spot by some fascination, and also scared, too scared to make a move, and possibly becoming the next meal for this beast. After a few minutes, the beast must have heard something in the distance, because it turned its head and ran off in the other direction as quickly as it had come. Once we could not hear the beast's footsteps at all, we knew the coast was clear, and we ran to the car. There was nothing but silence between us as we made our way back to the lab. Now we both knew what the fate was of the man that was lying still on our autopsy table. An attack by a 10-foot goatman creature in the woods at night that included a strange bite on the neck that left no trace of blood and in some way led to his death. We found our answers, but what disturbs me is that this thing is still out there. And how many more victims will it claim? For now, I and my workmate have chosen to remain silent about this revelation. Holy cow. That's the end of that article. That is absolutely fascinating. You guys, our world is full of oddities. Absolutely full of it. And we live in a time that I believe we are approaching the end of days. I do believe that we're coming into the days that our Father, our Lord and Savior, whoever you call him, Jesus, Yeshua, Yahshua, Yahweh, someone or something, which I believe is the God that created us, will be returning. This world is in shambles. Humans have absolutely destroyed everything, and it's got to get straightened out. And I do believe that day is getting near, and I also believe that's why there's so much happening in regards to high strangeness, both paranormal and supernatural. But that's just my thoughts on it. I got eyes on me right now, big time. But Petey's not reacting, so I'm gonna keep it together. I want to see how long this one is. This is pretty long here too. You guys, I think I'm gonna save this other one for another time, because I'm a little creeped out. This just feels really strange in here. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get my boy here with me. We're gonna go. Are you ready? You wanna go home? You ready to go? Guys, thank you all for hanging out with me today, and to all of you that are new here, welcome to our family. We absolutely appreciate you coming over here and being a part of what we have here. It's all of you that make this what it is, and all the different people that you guys and gals have all joined me in prayer, and y'all have sent prayers out to help so many. There's been a lot of things, mountains have moved thanks to all of you and the help that you guys have donated, whether it be, your prayers, or if you send a few dollars to help someone. You guys and gals, all of you here are absolute angels as far as the human race is concerned. And I just wanted to thank you for all the people that have benefited from the help that you guys and gals have sent. Thank you on their behalf. Thank you so very much. And guys, I love you all. God bless you. I'm going to get up here and get my shoes on. I will be filming the walk back to the truck. It feels really, it just got an odd feeling. I'm really nervous right now. I heard a small animal up in there moving earlier, and it stopped. And it's just it almost feels like, I don't know, like there's a big bubble of thick oxygen that's pushing against me. It feels like almost like a force being pushed on me from that way. And it's most likely my mind, my brain doing that, playing tricks on me. But I don't like it, and I just want to go home. But I got to go up the hill right here, and I got to go sort of this angle, which is just to the left of where I'm feeling that. But anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Be blessed in all you do. Enjoy your weekend. And if any of you need to reach out to me for any reason at all, please email me. That is the easiest way to reach me. My email is the channel, standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. Very simple to remember. I do have, I'm working on the review for the other night vision binocular that was sent to me. It is an absolute amazing unit. It is a high-end unit, so it is on the expensive side, but I am beginning to believe it is absolutely worth every penny, especially for people that are in the field of night investigations, whether it be for wildlife, security. If you're a researcher, you know, chasing these big guys and these other supernatural and paranormal beings, and you need a piece of night equipment, I believe they would be phenomenal for that. But I'll be sharing all of that footage and that whole review with all of you very soon. I'm shooting for about a week to a week and a half from now. I should have it completed. I just want to put it to the riggers and put it out. I got to get twilight, I got to get total darkness, daytime, just numerous different scenarios that I need to film with it. I'm going to get out of here. There's movement up there again. And that was pretty loud, but I love y'all. Y'all be safe, be blessed in all you do, and I will see you soon. Take care. I'm headed to the truck. Come on, buddy. We've got that movement right through there. It's getting a little loud and might possibly be a bear. Waterfalls right there. There's another one right there. Come on, buddy, let's get out of here. Come on, Petey. Come on, let's go this way. It's a hornet nest over here somewhere. We come in right over here. But I'm not gonna go up that way because the hornet, whatever's over there. I'm gonna go down here and cut up. This is a game trail right here. Come on, buddy. I hate going through these palmettos. Right down here is where the bear got into my camera. Whoop, that was a tree knock. You hear it, buddy? What is it? That was right through there. It sounded like it was across the creek. We'll go this way. We're gonna follow that trail, but I ain't gonna go down there. It just feels like we have company. Come on, buddy. Let's get out of these loud leaves. Holy mackerel, it's hot. That was loud. I doubt the mic picked it up. I'm using the wireless mic. I'm gonna go this way. Come on, buddy. Come on. No. He keeps stopping, staring back toward the creek. I want him to stay up here with me. Oh, out of breath. This, I know it doesn't look it, but this is uphill. I'm overweight. I'm old. And I got lung issues, so this slight upward change in grade makes it quite hard on me. All right, guys, well, be at the truck in a little while. Then I'm headed home. I'm gonna try to get this uploaded when I get home. Oh, sorry about the breathing. Hold on, buddy. There was something over there too. Maybe a deer bedding up. But folks, y'all be careful if you're out in this heat. Please stay hydrated. We don't need anybody getting ill or losing their life over lack of water or shade. Oh, geez. Y'all have a good day. I will definitely see you guys soon. Fixing to be in the truck and we're going home. Be kind. Be blessed in all you do. And if you need something I can help with, email me at standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.